welcome everyone to a new tutorial where we will be building a weather app, and this will be done in Kotlin, and the weather app is going to look like this. So I have some visuals where you can search the weather and it will display the weather of that current day, and at the same time it will also display the upcoming forecast. And not only we can search the weather with the help of search query, but we can also get the weather of the current location. So for that I'm using geocoder, and yeah, and this code is going to be available in the what do you call in the description, so you can download it for free. All I ask you is to follow me on GitHub and Instagram and subscribe to the YouTube channel. So without a further ado, let's just create a new project and name it as forecast app. And meanwhile this app is building, what I will do is I will go to the Google real quick and show you from where do we get the API key. So this is the OpenWeatherMap website, and here we have this different type of data that we can retrieve from the API. And by this stage, if you don't know what is API, then I think you are not ready for this tutorial. But API is basically a JSON response that I might be able to show you later in the tutorial. And then how do we display that into okay, for example, I have this, and let me just run a query on this. So for example, I have this, right? This website can give me this data. Now how do I arrange this data and display it in my app, right? So this is what is basically what REST API is doing. So for example, this has a list object, and in list object it has a date, the temperature of that day, and so on and so forth, right? So this is what basically an API is, that it's kind of a link where it has all these objects and lists that contain the data of the website that you want to display in your views in the app. So obviously these are like, some of these are like free and some of these are not free. The only free one I got was from yeah, this is the one that, okay, 5 days we will get the weather of 5 days, and every 3 hours that weather will update. So after creating your account, you can just come in here, and yeah, this is the link. It's like an example link where obviously you have to obtain the latitude and longitude by using geocoder, and then the API key for that you have registered here already. So once you have registered, you would just come in here in API and go to this subscribe, and oh, not subscribe. Okay, you can just go here, my API keys, and obviously here you can create and like copy it and put it. For example, if I copy this one and I go back to here API doc, so here I will place this. So basically this whole link that we are going to use in our app, okay? So I'll show you one by one, but this was just to show you how to get an API key, okay? And now obviously like we need some other things for this app, such as the icons and the drawable resources. So I'll just quickly go to my other project and just copy all the drawables. Yeah, these are the drawables that I need, that we can copy to our newly created project. And these drawables are also available in the what do you call that, in the description in the source code. Yeah, so we have got the drawables, and now it's time to get the dependencies, because we will be using like some little elements of data binding also. We will also use uh, Kotlin coroutines, and yeah, so I will one by one add the dependencies here. And we are using the view model and all that, so yeah, for that we will also, and we are using retrofit, so because we have to make an API call too, right? So this is what I have done, and now I will just go and for Kotlin annotations that we have done, we can sync this, and now we will come to the layouts. Since this app has like only like 1 or 2 pages, so I will not bother with the navigation component and navigation graph, and we can create some packages. Adapter, service, okay, and MVVM for view model, and we can create some classes, utils, shared preferences, and my application class, so we can get the access to context without having to, like, enunciate it, instantiate, yeah. Okay, these four I have got, and now I need another activity which is going to be called a forecast activity. Okay, so I have already made the layout, so I'll just copy that layout, but before that let's just enable data binding. Okay, data binding is done. um, yeah, let's just go to our themes. Yeah, we need to do some work there too, and let's just go, and here we will just themes, we can delete this night file, and here we can say light, no action bar. Okay, that's good, and we can do this window full screen, because, and at the same time let's just get this uh, card view style, because we need this. Okay, and now we'll just go to the colors, I think, and I need to add some of the colors. Yeah, yes, black and blue, black, blue, and blue. I'm not sure if I'm going to use it later, but let's just add them. Okay, now let's go to the main activity layout. What we are going to do there is, first of all, I'll just create a file here to name it as weather weather VM. Okay, so now let's go to the main activity and add this code that I'm going to paste here, and we will fix any errors that we might see. Oh wow, there are no errors. So that means, yeah, it's great. So this is the layout is enclosed in the layout tags because we are using data binding for one like city name here. We can use it for other things too, but like I want to keep it simple so you get the concept. So yeah, this is the scroll view, and this is what it's going to look like. But obviously this just wait, let me just fix that first. So this is like obviously not the here we have to change it, forecast app. Okay, then this error should go away because let me just name this as view model. I think, yeah. Okay, let's just go to main activity again. Okay, so let's just take a look at the layout. Here we have this material uh, card, uh, because we want to like give it an extra styling that I don't want all the corners to be rounded, so that is why I had to use material card. Now I have this recycler view at the end where the today's hourly forecast is going to be displayed. Okay, so that's all from here, and let's go to activity forecast. That layout we can also do it. Yeah, over there also we will have the recycler view getting displayed. So obviously here is nothing, and now obviously here on the main activity and forecast activities there are layouts, right? The list items, because recycler view is there, so we need to display today hourly list. So we need the list item designed for the main activity recycler view and also for the forecast. Okay, so let's just paste this here. Okay, yeah, we have this design, and like if I go back to, if I go to, yeah, I think it will not be visible, but anyways, let's just keep on coding. And for the forecast, upcoming forecast list. Okay, so for that we can also, this is like a, yeah, so this is the design that we have, and no problems here with the code. Okay, we are done with this, and I will go to mm, main activity, I think, yeah. Okay, so we'll just add this my application. The reason this is not visible because we still have not, yeah, it is, so we'll just extend it to application class. Okay, and Let's just get a companion object so we don't have to instantiate it again and again. Let init var instance of my application. Control O if you are on Control O if you are on Windows. With this, what I usually do is, like, if I need a context anywhere, I can get it. So that's like a no problem. Okay, so this is where we are, and now we need to go and create another very important one, retrofit instance, because that's the main. And at the same time, we need service interface. Now we will create another model, like another package, and here we will store the model. Like, I'll teach you how to do this, but this is where what we need is like our like model that contains the information of the JSON response that we have. You see here, so all these objects can be like, if we try to write them manually, then it will take a long time, right? So what we would do instead is we can use a Kotlin plugin to extract this information in form of classes. So if you can come in here and hmm, yeah, I'm not sure where are the plugins because I already have this installed. Let's just maybe try settings. Yeah, okay, here. So we'll just go on plugins and you can search Pojo. JSON to Kotlin. Okay. Once this is installed, you might have to like restart your Android Studio. You can store this. So I assume that, like, the key that I showed you, for example, I showed you this key, right? This whole link, right? So let's just try. So this is like, for example, like this is the, like, you can just put a latitude and longitude of any like any city of your choice, and this is the API key that you have received. You can run this link right now and copy this whole thing, Control A, Control C, and go to the model package. Here you are seeing Kotlin data class from file from JSON, and you can just Control V, format, name this as forecast class. Okay, and then just hit generate. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. I can just delete this. Okay, so we have all this, right? If we need city, then we will click on city. Like, if we need clouds information and forecast and all that, this is like the weather data that we have, right? So okay, and I think we shouldn't have deleted that. Let me just regenerate this. 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Let's just get it again. Mm, okay. Forecast. Yeah, I'm having a little bit of a struggle here that why this is okay. So let's just name this weather list, and also change the name and change the scope of it. Okay, and also here we are going to change this as array list. Okay, that's okay for us, and we can remove the parse label. Okay, we don't need that. Okay, and one more thing. Let's just change it to var. Since this is an automatic generated, that is why we have to do a little bit of a. And now I'll come to the forecast and pass the list of weather list here. Okay, this is also going to be an array list. Okay, and city is going to take the city class. So this is the problem here. We have to change everything. This has not generated a good one for us. Coordinate also we hmm. Okay, and main is like also cleaning it. Yeah, I can pause the video and clean it. Okay guys, instead of doing it the previous way, let's just do it from this website, json to kt. Yeah, and here we can just type the name of our app, forecast app, and here we can give it a forecast class, paste it, and now we can just download the Kotlin files. So this can be on your desktop, and then we can make some changes and okay, that's it. And Okay, yeah, here we have gotten like files, and we will just copy them here in our Android Studio and added them if we need to. Not a lot of editing will be required, but still, like, to fit our needs. Yes, okay, that's good. And now we will just check. Yeah, this is good, this is good, this is good. And here the list, we can name it as, for better understanding, we can name it as weather list. Because list is like really, okay, this has changed to weather list. And if I can go to forecast, then yeah, weather list. Okay, perfect. So now we have made the data, model data. We will just go and create a retrofit instance. So this was like a little bit of a work, but no worries. Yeah, let's just create a retrofit instance, and I'll just take a companion object, private wall retrofit by lazy. And if we want to log the retrofit response, then we can just logging http logging interceptor logging set level wall client. Okay, http client dot builder add interceptor logging dot build. So just to see if the request has been like successful or not, we can use that retrofit builder base URL. Obviously this we have to create, so I'll just type it, add converter factory JSON converter factory dot create client client dot build. So obviously we have to, like, go to the utils and get this working to companion object. um, is URL. So here is the thing that, like, how we are going to make sure that the spelling OpenWeather data 2.5 spellings are correct and you are not missing anything. And here you can type your API key that you have gotten. Usually I wouldn't expose it, but obviously now we are just doing this for learning purposes, so I'll just type the API key here. But this is not advisable to show it to anyone. And one more thing, I will just do permission request code 123. This is for the location. So this is the link, and now you must be wondering, oh, but there was a latitude, there was a longitude, right? And why did I just posted only this, right? So yeah, just hold on and we will be coming to that. Okay, let's just import this. Okay, now that error is gone. and we can val API by lazy retrofit create service class Java. Now obviously we have to go to service and work there too. So here it's an interface, so I will type get. Get is an annotation, that means we want to get some data from the API, and post is the annotation where we are posting something. For example, we write a tweet, we upload a photo on Facebook, that means it's a post request. But now when we are like just viewing somebody's images, somebody's tweets, that means that the app is performing get request, get current weather. And now obviously if we read this, so it says the forecast. This link we have written already, right? I just copied it in the utils. This forecast word has come to our get request, and now latitude, longitude, and app ID means the API key. So that's how we are structuring our URL. Query latitude, so latitude is going to take a string. Then again there is a query that is longitude, and longitude is going to take a string as well. And then there is a query app ID. App ID is going to be our API key. So that's how our URL has been structured. Perfect. Now we'll just click on Alt Enter and import all this. So now we have done this, and we can say call forecast. So obviously this is the class, the main class, the model class that we had created. You see here, okay, this is the main class that contains the array list of weather list, and the weather list contains the information of weather object, and so on, so forth. So let's just go back to the service, and I'll just copy this, but this is for get weather by city, right? And here also we are just changing the link a little bit. So if we are going to change the link, Q is query, and what it's going to take is city as a string. So here, like, if we can change the link a little bit. If we change this to, let me just remove this, and I say that we write London here, so then we will get the information of London, but now the link is different. So that is why we have given this option to the user to build the link in a different style. Okay, let's just close this and go to the manifest and add some of the permissions. So let's just first get uses permission, covers location, uses permission, find location, uses permission, internet, and uses permission, Wi-Fi state. That's good. Okay, let's just close this. Okay, now we have our code setup. Let's just we can write the shared preferences code also, because we will need it. And basically now I'm just setting up the app, and then like it will just start working on its own, you could say. So these shared preferences are going to be a little different, because and I will explain you later why. So for now just copy it the way I am typing. Companion object private val const val shared prefs name. We can say you can choose a name of your choice, but const val const, okay, and private var instance of shared preferences is going to be null at first. Fun get instance context returns shared preferences. If instance is null, then instance shared preference context dot application context return instance. Okay. Private val prefs. This is I'm doing so I can tell you right now here, no need to wait, because when we exit the app, shared preferences will be stored still. So what we want is that whenever we exit the app, then we do not want the preferences to be like saved. We want the preference to be clear, and in this case the preference that I'm talking about is that I store the city name in the shared preferences. That is why we see, like, if the city okay, I'll just tell you later. Like if the city name is if the city name is like not clearing when we are exiting the app, then the app will not load properly, right? We want the app to load the current weather, not the city weather, when the app runs. So yeah, that is why. I'm not sure if I made sense, but in practice you will understand. Okay, this is the what's the error here? Fat value string value dot string prefs edit put string key is the key and value is the value. And don't worry, I don't know why it's showing error, but we can it will be fixed soon. Get value, and the get value is just string pref, okay, return get string set value or null key string value string. So here I'm creating additional function. If there is no value, still we will be able to set the value. So we can set null or a value. Value is not null. Prefs edit put string key value dot apply return null. Now we can do get value or null to get the function to get this value. Get value or null. Okay. And lastly, we will just write a function to clear the shared preferences. Clear the shared preference. Okay, now let me just come here and see why this is throwing an error. What's the issue here? Private wall shared preferences. Okay, all good, I think. Set value or null. Yeah, set value or null is going to be like that, and get value key is not null. Okay, that's good. And now we will just, our shared preferences is done, and now we can do a code of adapters. So let's just yeah, let's just do the code of adapters. For today's list, we can just create an adapter and name it as weather today. For the upcoming, we can write weather forecast. And I'm just going to copy paste that code because it's like a lot of like boilerplate code, and there is nothing new that I am doing in there. So, but I will definitely explain, like, okay, don't worry. But like I have made adapters so many times, so it's just a simple adapter and I'm not doing anything new in there. So let's just do some imports, and here obviously we have to change this the today hourly list. Yeah, okay, and let's just get I will just explain in a while that what is happening here. Okay, and now what is the remaining error? Yes, here. So, okay, let me just show you. Now what is happening here? It's like From here it's nothing like nothing to explain there. But the only thing, oh wow, what just happened? Okay, the only thing here is like to be told to you is like that how I'm converting the temperature value and displaying it in the Celsius. Okay, so that the temperature that we are getting from the API is in Kelvin. So here we are just simply converting it and displaying it. And for the date, it's like the R, and the R that we are displaying, that okay, the time that we are displaying, that is that what we are doing is like we are uh, displaying it in like 11 p.m. or something like that. Okay, and this is like the images that we need, right? That okay, uh, this is the image code of like a forecast, like it's a clear sky or not, like so on and so forth. So that's how we are just displaying the images. For example, and how we are doing it, if I can show you from forecast, here we have this access to weather list, right? So we are first accessing this object forecast, and then we are going into this weather list from here. And this weather list has another array list of weather, and in weather it has an icon, right? So that is why we are just like going to loop through this, and then we are able to uh, access the icon. So that is why the data is really complex in this one. Like there are list, array list within the object. So this is good. Okay, now we will do the same thing with the forecast adapter, because over there also nothing much is happening. And if it's something that is happening, then I will just definitely like let you know. But the adapter code is like a lot of boilerplate code, so that is why I didn't just wanted to bore you with that. Okay, yeah, so a lot of imports here. We'll just go and get this imported. And here we can change the name of the layout, because upcoming forecast list. Let's just keep on importing our stuff. Okay, yeah, here also if you can see the what I have done with the temperature, like I told you, and here we are also displaying the date of the forecast, like let's say it's 5th July, so what would be the weather on the 5th July. And for the icon I am doing the same thing what I have explained, so nothing to explain there. Okay, I think forecast adapter is also done. Now here comes the real okay building. Yeah, okay, and now I think one more thing is remaining here. What's wrong? I think this is missing. Okay, let's just, I have copy pasted a lot of code, so let's just clean the project. Cleaning is done, and now let's go to write the code that we need, right? First of all, we will go to the Mu model, and yeah, start the work from there, because actually all of the work is going on there, but some of like the work is done in main activity as well. So I'm just going to get this. Okay, this is city name. We have already set the data binding, and in the layout, if I can show you here. So here the city name is going to be coming from here, and if we can go to the text view of that, then we might be able to see where the city name is. Yeah, that's where the city name is, right? Okay, cool. So let's just close everything on the left, I think. Okay, and yeah, just close this. Okay, now let's start writing the code, and yeah, hopefully we will be able to do something great. So let's just get fun get weather. Now we don't know, like, the weather could be from the city search, or the weather could be from the location. So we are typing a function that is doing the both things. That is why it can take string or it can take no arguments and still work. And this is like the Kotlin coroutine, that this is done on the background thread. Okay, so let's just get val today weather list, mutable list of weather list, val current date time, local date time now, val current date pattern, current date time format, date time formatter. So I'll just tell you in a short while why are we doing the date thing. Yeah, this we have to add. Okay, gone. Here we are going to get access to our shared preferences, but also, like I told you when I was creating my application class, that we might need the instance of this, right? So that is why we need some time context, so we can use it here. Shared prefs context. So the latitude value we will get, although we have not stored anything in this, right? So we are like just writing the code beforehand, although we have to set the value right on this. So now here what we are doing is, we will, in the main activity, once we get the location from the geocoder, we will store those latitude and longitude into the shared preferences, and through this we can add this to our function. Okay, well, call if city is not null, then what needs to happen is retrofit instance that we had created, API get weather by city, in case we have the search query, right? Else, if city is null, right, that the user has not searched anything, then what needs to happen is API get current weather. But with what? We had the latitude and longitude. If you recall, and I'll just take you there. This takes city in it, and this takes latitude and longitude. That is why we have done this. Okay, perfect. Now what we will do is wall response call.execute. If response is successful, wow weather list response dot body and weather list. So we have got the response and city name, post value, response dot body, because weather list does not have the city name. If we come here, weather list does not have the city name, but I think the city name is in the weather, I guess. No, the city name is in the city, I guess. Yeah, city here. So that is why we are doing this weather body city dot name, and this is like not null. Okay, response is successful. We can do this. Okay, so present date is equals to the format that we have created, right? And just hang on a second, and in a while you will understand everything. Weather list for each. So what I'm doing is if weather date text, splitting it, regex contains present date. So separate all the weather objects that have the date of today. That means they will have the weather of today as well, right? So that's how we are separating it. Today weather list, add weather. Okay, that was very simple. Now closest weather. Now there is another thing. So yeah, I'll just explain you. Close post value. Now this is what we are going to display. Like if I can show you here, if I can go to the main activity. So we have like finalized that, okay, any data that matches the date of today, display them in this list here, right? But what about the data that we want to display here? How do we decide the one data that we want to display of the weather here? From where should it come? So for example, since our API is giving us the call for every 3 hours, that means for example here is 3 p.m. right? The device time is 3 p.m. and our API weather call is like showing us the weather of like 3 p.m. as well. Then the 3 p.m. information will be displayed. So for example, if the device time is 2 p.m. but it is still closer to 3 p.m., right? So we can show the data of 3 p.m. here. That is why if the system time and API time are equal to each other, display that object. Otherwise, if the API time is closest, I can just write it. If the API time is closest to the system's time, display that. So obviously if the system time is 2 p.m. and the API time is 9 p.m., obviously it is not closer, right? It will display something closer. That is what we are going to do here. And at the same time, today weather live data post value, today weather list. Okay, now for this one we have to create this function, and here we can just type this as list. Well, system time, local data. I'll just get the code from a previous project because it's a lot of hassle to get this, like, because it's just like a nothing related to API but a system related, time related code. So I have done this, that like the time, that what I was saying is just it will match, it will see the difference. If the API time is closest to the system time, then it will just give us that time and we will display that. Okay, what's this? Why is it closing? Yeah, okay. Find the closest weather. Okay, yeah, the spelling were wrong. Okay, so now it will just do this, what I have written, that if API time is closest to the system time, display that. If API time matches the system time, then also display that. Simple. I think our view model work is one more thing that we have to do, obviously. So now this is what we have done, right? Now what we will do, because this is the weather of today, whether it's like be it the city, be it the weather of today, weather by city, or the location weather, right? And we will do the same thing, and I think only one thing is going to be different. Yeah, let me just experiment. Only one thing is going to be different here, actually two. Let's just get this and paste the get for forecast, get forecast upcoming. Okay, and now here what is the thing, we earlier we said that if the date matches the present date, if the system date and API date matches the present date, then it's a today list. If the date does not matches, what does that mean? That means it's upcoming data for the next day. So we can just reverse this condition. We can say, oh, if it does not match, then it is the data of another day. So what we will do is forecast, and one more thing. So here we will just, we don't need this, forecast live data. Okay, and this is good. And but here we need to do one more thing, because there are so many datas, right? Like there are like weather at like 12 p.m., 3 p.m., 9 p.m., like 6 a.m. and all. So for the next day, we can just display the midway data, like midday data, like 12 p.m. of every day we can just display that data. So what if the weather is going to be on the 5, 6, 7, 8 of July? Like we can say, show me the weather data of 12 p.m. like the midday weather data. So here that is why we need one more condition, and that condition is we are going to create another filter, weather date text substring 1116. So because, and the reason I'm writing 1116, let me just show you, you might be getting confused. So where is the time here? If yeah, here is it, right? Let me just show you the 12 one. So for example, this, the substring method and the regex, because here is space, right? So it splits this and ignores this, and we are filtering wherever there is this 12 p.m. Give me that object. Simple. That is what it's doing here. Okay, and now we are, I think, done with the view model. Okay, let's just close this and simply go to the forecast activity. Although we should go to the weather like main activity first, but uh, because we have a lot of work uh, in the main activity, so I'll just finish this first. So let's just initialize some of the views here, like what we need. Okay, view model is initialized. Now here we will check our shared preferences. That okay, if the city is not null, then yeah, I'll just paste this whole thing because it's a not lot of code. So what I'm going to show you, so what I have done here is, see, yeah, here this is needed because of the time conversion. We need this annotation. It's nothing much. Okay, yeah. So what it's checking that, okay, if the user has entered a city, then display the forecast, upcoming forecast of that city. Otherwise, just display the forecast, even there is no city entered, right? Just display the forecast, upcoming forecast of the current location. That is what is happening. And this is the reason in the shared preferences we have created this function that we can either set a value or we can either set null, and we can go back to the view model for the reference. And here we are also saying the same thing, that okay, it can either contain a city or it can either be empty. When it's empty, that definitely means that we are just fetching the weather from our location, but when it's not empty, that means we are fetching the weather from our city query. Okay, forecast activity is done. Now I think the only work is needed, it will be done in the main activity. So let's just go to main activity and start working here. And obviously here we have enabled the data binding, so we need that. Late init var binding activity main binding. We are going to, yeah, here is going to be a little bit like maybe 10 to 20 minutes more. Let's just get the view model. And let's get the adapter also. Weather today. Okay, these three things, right? For the data binding, I will just simply like get this. So obviously this is not test layout, this is activity main, and let's just get that. And view model is going to be like this, and also initialize the weather today. And here in the shared preferences, what I'm going to do is, so whenever app runs, now you will understand what I was saying. Whenever app runs, clear the city that we had searched previously, because if we don't do this, then it will still display the value of, let's say I have like searched London, right? And then I exit the app and then I come back to it, it will display the data of London, but we don't want that, right? We want the current location weather to be shown, and like then if we search the weather, then we get that information, but we don't want it automatically. That is why we are clearing the shared preferences. And we will do this view model today, weather live data, observe this observer, and I'm just going to copy paste this because simple code. So this is the list weather list, and we can set it, and simple we are setting the adapter, that's all. But obviously we need to pass the location and all that. So, and now also one more thing is that how do we display the current data, right? The current or closest data that is matching. So for that we have to mm, yeah, it's a long code. I'll just copy paste it because it's the same thing that what we have done in the adapter, so nothing to worry here, and I will just walk you through it one by one. So it's actually the same thing, but it's not like the adapter that where we have to like do the list and all. So what it says is that the closest or same data, okay, and we are displaying the temperature because I have written the code here. In the today, and like I think in the get weather, post value, yeah, closest data. So in here what we have done is like, okay, API is the closest time to the system time, then display that, but if API time matches the system time, then also display that. So that is what we have done, and this is what we are observing. So from there we are getting the temperature, again the same conversion, again like the description, the way I have displayed the icons, that is how I am displaying the description. Like I told you in adapter that how are we displaying the icons, and I have done the same thing with the icons once again here too. So that is what is happening here, nothing fancy, but it looks long, that is why it might be intimidating, but it's the same stuff that for in the adapter you were doing it for a list, and here you are just doing it for one object, not a list. Okay, now after this we will check the location permission still in the onCreate. And for that we can create these functions. Okay, get current location, I think. No, let's just name this as fun. Check location permission boolean. And one more thing is request okay, and one more thing here on request permission result. Okay, and get current location is still remaining. Yeah, okay. So here what we will do is we will tackle them one by one. So that's just like the main part of this tutorial actually, because getting a location. Okay, the spelling are wrong. Okay, yeah, now that will go away. Okay, this is great. Now this is like really simple, so I'll just put it like this is like the location code, so no explanation needed here. It's just basically checking if the if we have like granted the permissions, because whenever we run the app it will prompt a permission, right? We can just check and see manifest, and okay, that's gone. Again, that is going to be like request is going to be also like a really simple code. That is, we have to make sure. Oh wow, okay, let's just come in here. If request code utils permission request code, which is 123, if grant results is not empty, and grant results 1 package manager. Yeah, it's a lot of boilerplate code, guys. Granted, and grant result package manager permission granted. Then get current location else handle accordingly. Okay, and now let's go to the current location, and I'm just going to put a boilerplate code here because that's like not like necessary. So get current location is like if we know like the if we get the location, then what needs to happen. Oh wow, the only reason this is showing an error is like we have to like this is like a real pain in the yes. Let's just delete this. And if you need this function you can, but I don't think so. Like reverse geocode location is like if you need an address of your place, so that is the function for that, but we are going to keep it the minimum work. The last thing here we want to do is the search view, right? Okay, this annotation is getting added and now that's good. So here what we have done is in the shared preferences we have set the value of our latitude and longitude. That is why from here we will go to our view model and we can retrieve these values in our functions here, right? And we can use them here. So this is what was done. And last thing is the search view thing that we have to do. Okay, let's just go below this and or yeah, let's just go below this, the location thing. Well, search, edit, text, binding, search view, find view by ID. So I'm just making sure that the color of the query is is white. Binding next 5 days, set on click listener, start activity, this forecast activity, okay, this is for like clicking the button and going to another activity of forecast, nothing much. Coming back to our binding search view, set on query text listener object, search view on query text listener. I'm not sure if I have imported the right one, but Let's just check in here. I think this is what I have. Yeah, because Android X compared. So we'll just go back and yeah, we have this. The widget name is this, right? So yeah, Android X compared. So we have to import the right one. I already did in front of you. So let's just implement members. Thing only on submit because we are only doing the work here. Oh, still we have to do it. Although we are not going to use it, but okay, again. So here I'm going to set the value. Here I'm going to set the value of like city and query. Okay, why is it giving me an error? Okay, not here. So here I'm setting the value of set value or null, right? Okay, here is the value that it's like it is taking the city parameter, but when we go above here, then it is clearing the same value or the all the values. I think I have written code somewhere here for that. Yeah, here it's clearing those values. So okay, if there is a city, then we must conquer it. So I'm just going to get this code from here and like simply because it's a little code. This code is not taken from another tutorial. It's like my own code, so I own this. Okay, so here we have set the weather query, get weather by query. That's all. And I think it is giving me an error. Okay, so what I have done is, okay, let's just think we are done for this, and we can just say return true. Okay, I think now it's the time for the demonstration, and I'll just connect my phone. Before running the app, we need to, because this is here in integer, but we need to change it to double. Make sure in weather list to change this to double, otherwise your app will throw an error. Okay. And lastly, before running the app, we need to do this. I think we get weather. Yeah, I think now we can run the app and hopefully we will be able to see some results. Guys, there is an issue that our latitude values are getting null on running the app. So these values like I have logged, and in the view model they are null, but in the main activity they are like correct. So we have to find a reason that why here we are getting the correct values, but in the view model we are not getting those values correctly. So let me just find out that reason. Okay, so the reason is that because we are accessing the wrong way, get instance context, and now we will be able to, it was a little fault that we were seeing, and now I think I should run the app and everything should work as expected. So let me just get this my screen that I am sharing here with this app, and let's just go and run the app. Okay, yeah, I have the display. Yeah, again the app has like crashed for some reason because there is no internet, I think. But let me just run the application first, the one that displays our phone, and then we will be further delving into what is going on. Also at the same time, we have to do this change. I'm sorry, I did not pause the video and I thought it was paused. So this change has to be done here also at the same time. And let me just rerun the app, I think, and see if we can get the result that we want. Yeah, again there is no result, but let me just launch my because guys, like, I am like first time trying to launch this uh, mirror app, because this is like really confusing me right now here. Yeah, okay, for some reason this is like the internet is slow, so this is not getting displayed. But meanwhile, I'll just fix the app. Okay, so it says wrong latitude, and if we go to the view model, then it is showing that the coordinates are null here. So why is that? Let me just see. Maybe while setting it, we have to also do that. So let's just go and yeah, here, get instance. Maybe now it will be working. Let's just see now. So hopefully our output will come here. So this is for the permission, and we will just allow this. And again, the latitude is wrong, but let's just search by city. So by city, our app is working. But the only task is remaining, that how to get the city by the location. So Let's just see why is the error there. Yeah, it's like difficult to tell because our shared preferences are like not getting the latitude and longitude value. Get current location. Okay, that's good. And let's just see that latitude and longitude. Maybe there is an issue with the shared preferences class, so let me just recheck that. And companion object here, key city, shared pref null, get instance is null, instance shared preferred context, instance shared preference error without corresponding to commit. Yeah, that could be an issue. So let's just see prefs edit, or maybe, oh yeah, I think I did not add apply here. See, this is the main issue. Now I think our app will work perfectly. Let me just stop it and let's just delete the app from the phone and then do it. Oh wow. Let's just delete the app. Yeah, we did not apply the set value one. So let's just start again. Wow, again it's like the problem. Again, this is the problem, and now we are looking more. What could be the reason to apply get value? Oh, let's just go to the view model and change the name here so I can log it correctly. Get weather by city. Okay, yeah, it's working perfectly. I just rerun the app, and the only problem was that we were not applying the shared preferences here. So this has worked beautifully. Let me just delete the app, and once again for your like convenience, let me just show you once again. So the app is coming up. Yeah, let's give the location. That's Karachi. Taking some time to load, but let's just go in here. Yes. So the app is working beautifully, and we can type London. Okay, for the London weather has updated. The display is a little bit slow from my phone to this, and London forecast is coming here, and we can kill the app. Going back. Okay, so it will be displayed here, and because the mirror app is slowing it down, otherwise the weather is displaying correctly. It should be here. Yeah, the mirror app is really slowing it down, but otherwise you see here, so it is displaying correctly, guys. Okay, thank you for watching this tutorial, and I hope you had a great time watching this, and looking forward to catching you in the next one.